Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. Today's story include toxic parents, favoritism between siblings, family problems, inheritance disputes, legal issues and entitled people. Let's start. Am I the idiot for robbing my brother of his full inheritance? My brother Ben, 35, is spoiled. Mom favored him over us girls. He always got what he wanted, or he threw tantrums, even at my sister's funeral. She was 16, Ben 14, and me 11. My dad has 2 brothers and 1 sister. When my uncle was 22, he came out as gay. My grandparents were shocked, but they loved and accepted him for who he was. My dad married my mom, and with my uncle, we did lots together. To us, he was the fun uncle. My aunt and other uncle married their partners, but they were always critical of my other uncle, because of his life choices. My grandparents held the family together, but in 2016, they both died within 9 months of each other. Then my aunt and uncle disowned my gay uncle. He was upset, but he and my dad have always been close, so we became his only family. In 2019, my uncle was diagnosed with lung cancer. He rewrote his will and asked my brother to be the executor, because dad wasn't coping with him being sick. Ben accepted, as he believed that my uncle would split everything between him and myself. My uncle died in May 2021. My dad, my uncle's boyfriend, and I were with him. I called and messaged my brother repeatedly, but he didn't answer or come to say goodbye. At the funeral, dad was a mess, but my brother was giddy. A couple of weeks of my brother pestering my dad to find the will later, we looked in my uncle's safe. Dad unlocked it, and Ben grabbed the paperwork. Soon after, he swiped everything off my uncle's desk, swore, yelled and stormed out. Later I found the will, and my uncle had split his estate 4 ways, 1/4 each, to my brother, myself, my uncle's boyfriend and cancer research. Ben was angry because he only got 1/4, he contested the will. He claimed that he only accepted the job of executor, because he was promised 1/2. He believed he should get 1/2 and the other 1/2 should be split 3 ways. It went to court in October 2022, I testified, and when asked if my brother should get 1/2 of the estate, because of, quote, all the work he had to do, I said no. I said my dad and I had done more than my brother, helping my uncle simplify his affairs prior to his death, and that my uncle was a deliberate man, and we should respect his wishes. Ben was livid, but still thought he would win. Well, he didn't. Early December, I was notified that Ben got 1/4 minus costs, and the rest of us got 1/4 each. He went nuts, demanding I compensate him, because I cost him, quote, his money. My mother blew up my phone with, how could I do this to her baby, and relatives are telling me I did the wrong thing. Mom banned me from Christmas. My parents divorced when I was 16, because of my poor behavior, and told everyone I refused to come after what I did. Ben had a New Year's Eve party, and my sister-in-law sent me a message saying, sorry, with a picture of my photo on Ben's dartboard, and a sign telling his guests to throw darts at me, and to message my number, to tell me I'm an a-hole. What a jerk. I only got 2 messages from his friends, so I don't think I am, but Reddit, am I the idiot? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I feel I might be the a-hole, because of years of resentment towards my brother and his tantrums. Maybe I was just fed up with always missing out, and not getting what I should, because he was the favorite child. I have never been the executor of a will, so I don't know how much work it is, but my uncle was very deliberate about making his affairs simple. Maybe he did deserve the extra money, and I am the a-hole? Also, OP gives more info in the comments. OP did everything by the book, and reasonably so. Unclear why they even posted. I posted, because of the reaction of my uncles, mom's brothers, my brother's friends, and some comments on a post on my brother's social media. I am so used to being wrong, and for once, I felt like I was right and a court agreed, but so many people are still telling me I am wrong. Info, how old are you? I am 32, he is 35. I'm surprised your dad didn't set this spoiled child straight for behaving the way he did towards you, and for disrespecting his brother's wishes. He did when my brother lodged the paperwork to contest the will, but my mother was egging my brother on, so Ben thought he was right. My dad told him that he would rather the money go to us than him, as he would just eventually give it to us in his inheritance, and we could probably put it to better use now than when he dies. He didn't want or need his brother's money, he wanted his brother. I am learning the extent that Ben is the a-hole. Your brother appears to be a mollycoddled sociopathic narcissist. You did nothing wrong. If you wonder where this all went wrong, look at your parents. My dad tried for many years, but was browbeaten and just shut down. I am proud of him for standing up to my mother and divorcing her when he did. I think the ball lands mostly on my mother's side of the court. She never took no for an answer, ever, especially when it came to her baby, Ben. At what point are you cutting your mom and Ben out of your life? Block them and focus on your life. I think this has happened unintentionally. I haven't heard from my mother since she banned me from Christmas, and my dad hasn't heard from Ben since he threw a text tantrum when the court made its decision. I think our family is now split, Mom and Ben, Dad and I. I don't know what life will look like moving forward. Your brother is psychotic. That's funny, because according to my mother, I am a psycho and my brother is a perfect angel. Your brother was giddy that your uncle was dead? Ben wasn't giddy at my uncle being dead. I think he was giddy at the money he was going to get, because he became so hyper-focused on the will. I have blocked my mother, brother, and maternal uncles on social media, that way I have control over, if I want to re-engage with them, but right now I just don't. I am coming to realize how I have been treated for far too long, and the damage it has done. My uncle always looked out for me, and he is doing so, even in death. So your sister-in-law is married to him and just accepts this behavior? Sorry to break it to you, but she ain't that great of a person either. From her messages to me, I don't think she is going to stay much longer. She is fed up with his behavior, and she was the only person, from that side, to wish me Merry Christmas. She has been tainted by him, but is seeing the light. Info: does your mom understand that he was trying to get money from your share? What is she saying for why he should have gotten more? Did he promise her some? I think the fact that I'm in the will is enough to set off my brother. He didn't get what he wanted, and I got something he wanted, so I am the bad guy. My mother has always given my brother everything he wants. My sister and I were treated as second-class citizens, and he was the perfect angel, so she would bend over backwards to make him happy. She worships money, so I guess she thought his money was her money, and she should fight for it. She also hates my father for leaving her. She manipulated and abused him too, even though he was very generous to her in the divorce. The lawyers said she wasn't entitled to what she got, but my dad just wanted out, so he gave her nearly everything she wanted. She thinks he screwed her over, so any victory against my father's side of the family is a power play and victory for her. Info: was he paid for his services as executor? This has been asked a couple of times, and I am assuming that the court would take that into consideration. I know you should never assume, but seeing as his whole case was based on workload, then I am sure it was considered. I didn't attend the last hearing. I didn't want to be there, in case it didn't go well for my brother, knowing my mother and her screeching would also be there. My dad rang me with the results, and I have a wad of paperwork that he gave me. I am sure it is in there somewhere, but I don't really want to go through it, or ask my dad right now. My uncle knew he was dying. Prior to his death, we consolidated investments, sold his car, he had a military collection that he sold to a friend, and combined everything into the least amount of areas as possible. My brother literally had to sell the house, and split the proceeds of the house, life insurance, superannuation, and 2 bank accounts. It wasn't a complicated job, because my uncle made sure it wasn't. My uncle, dad, and I did all the work, even down to donating his furniture after the house sale. My brother didn't ever turn up to help out or clean, etc. The paperwork was all in the safe, with a spreadsheet on the front, with account numbers and contact details of where everything was. He definitely had to do some work, but definitely not the dramatic amount he was making out. Is he asking your father for his part of the inheritance? How about your uncle's partner? My father told my uncle to exclude him from his will, because he doesn't need the money, and would prefer it went to my brother and I, as we could use it more now than when he passes away. As for if he will be in my father's will, not sure. My father is very hurt by him and his actions. My uncle's boyfriend has nieces and nephews too. I doubt Ben will be in his will, especially after his recent behavior. At the reading of the decision, not sure the proper name for that, my brother demanded that my dad, quote, make it right, before he started on me via text. He has always been able to get what he wants from me, because my mother would enforce it and make me give him whatever he wanted. He assumed it would happen again this time, but he has never been able to manipulate my uncle's boyfriend. OP also tell us. Ben didn't see my uncle's boyfriend, Jay, as family, even though they were together for 8 years. I was so blessed that Jay dropped in for brunch on Christmas Day, on the way to his family's lunch. He is still family. And she revealed to us. A few years after my sister died, my brother said something about now only having to split inheritances 2 ways instead of 3. My uncle always said that we were his kids, and he would leave us something in his will, but I am not sure he ever gave a figure. He never did to me, but money has never been a focus for me, so I never spoke with my uncle about it, but money is a big deal for my brother. I can't guarantee what was said with my brother, but nothing was said in front of me about 50%. Once my brother turned 18-ish, he didn't spend a lot of time with my uncle. He was always too busy. I just think that Ben put 2 and 2 together and got 6. He and my mother are very money-focused, so even if he hadn't thought he was getting 50%, my mother would have told him he was. The will said 25% to each of the 4 people/groups, and knowing my uncle, he wouldn't say one thing to my brother and do something else. He had integrity. I am enjoying the current peace in my life during my, quote, punishment of the silent treatment from my mother and brother. I have learned from the responses from this post that I need to let them go. Oh my God. OP's brother is a huge a-hole, the mother is an idiot, and the poor sister-in-law is married to the worst of the idiots. Because he's one of those who thinks he has the right to everything that he wants, but in reality is a piece of shit who has the right to nothing. He is just an entitled a-hole, created by OP's mother. An a-hole with no soul or heart, because who acts the way he did when a loved one dies? Or rather, who acts like this when anyone dies? A greedy soulless a-hole, that's who. But after the reaction he had at their sister's funeral, I can't even say I'm surprised. I believe everyone hoped he would have grown and become a better person, but no, he's still the same narcissistic idiot. At the time of his sister's death, he had the excuse that he was an insensitive teenager, but now he just seems like a cold and calculating human being, who only thinks about himself, and of course, money. Just another huge a-hole. And what they did to OP's photo, it's a psychopath thing. He and his friends are insane. Stay away from these people, OP. Better yet, press charges against them, you have evidence. I'm so sorry for OP's loss, that she has a brother like this, and that her mother is so blinded by her favoritism towards her son, that she can see what a shitty person he is. Or worse, she doesn't care, since I don't doubt that a big part of the reason he is like this, is because of his upbringing. Unfortunately, I think OP's brother is the way he is, because their mother is the same way. She thinks she has the right to other people's things, money, just because. And I also wonder, does OP's brother have any proof that the uncle promised half of the inheritance to him if he were the executor of the will? Or does this proof only exist in his head? Also, just because a person is spoiled, doesn't mean they are also cold, soulless, narcissistic, and without empathy for others, like OP's brother is. I'm sorry OP for the way your family has treated you, but no, you are not the idiot here, and don't let other people tell you otherwise. And what do you guys think of this situation? What would you do if it were OP? Now let's read what the comments say before we going to the update. Not the idiot, he lied and let his greed get control. He contested the will, and should be grateful that there wasn't a clause cutting him out completely because of that. My uncle loved Ben and would never cut him out completely. He was a wonderful man. I am sure he could never imagine that Ben would behave this way. He always saw the good in people. Not the idiot, your brother took an unwinnable case to court and he lost. The fact that you got asked on stand what is fair is really weird, and doesn't really have anything to do with the case. Your brother lost because he took a stupid case to court, you didn't do anything. Are you sure your mom knows the same story that you tell us here? Because from what you say here there is nothing you did. Are you sure that your brother doesn't have a different version of events? My mother believes that her baby should have everything he wants. He has always been the favorite child, and my mother has never treated us equally. If she didn't have enough money for us all to have a treat, like ice cream, she would buy him one and us girls nothing. She would say, "You girls always get so much," but she never got us anything without buying him something too. I paraphrased the court proceedings due to the character count. I had 2 times the character count when I first typed it out. Also, my mother was at Ben's New Year's Eve party and she didn't shut down his behavior with the dartboard. She knows the story, she only cares about her baby. Ugh. Not the idiot. Being an executor of a will doesn't mean you are even in the will. There are lawyers, etc., that are executors of wills. You didn't rob anyone of anything, and he's a greedy son of a witch. First, I'm sorry for your loss. Not the idiot. I've been the executor of 2 estates. Executors are not entitled to a larger share of the estate, only what the deceased decreed in the will. An executor is entitled to an executor's fee, which can be a percentage of the overall value of the estate, or time spent acting and executing the estate. The laws can differ from state to state. Your brother's reactions, especially with sending you that photo, are abhorrent. It's always shocking how greedy relatives are about estates. It's time for you to go low contact or no contact with your mother and brother, and anyone who is supporting their stance in this matter. Accept your share of your uncle's estate, and use it to live your best life. OP also share. I am so tired of all of this will business, that I don't even know about the executor fees. I suppose it is somewhere in the paperwork I was sent. I don't want to ask my dad because he has been through enough, but I assume that Ben was paid a fee, since a couple of people have mentioned it. I haven't even thought about what to do with the money at all. I guess I believed that my brother would get what he wanted, as usual. My uncle was a very kind man and a great uncle. I feel sorry for my cousins who missed out on knowing him. My sister-in-law sent me the message about the photo. She is a good person and didn't agree with Ben contesting the will. I think a line has been drawn in the sand with my brother and mother on one side and me and my dad on the other. My brother is angry at my dad for what he said at court when presenting the will and the assets. Ben thinks my dad chose sides. He didn't, he just wanted what my uncle wanted. Thinking about separation hurts, but it is probably for the best. Thank you for your kind words. Oh, are you enjoying the video so far? If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. This really helps the channel, so I appreciate it. Update. My brother decided that I wasn't getting any money and taunted me, but a firmly worded letter from our solicitor changed his mind. I have received the money and my dad and I have been looking at houses. We also had a memorial bench made and installed at my uncle's tennis club. We have booked a long weekend away for a mid-February getaway with my dad, my uncle's boyfriend and myself, at one of my uncle's favorite places. We need to laugh and reminisce. I spoke to the police, via a DV liaison, who was awesome. I was granted a protection order against both my mother and brother. They tried to fight it and failed. They had to travel to the court near me twice and still lost. They are not happy. Charges will be filed against my brother shortly, now the protection order is in place. My sister-in-law left my brother, not long after I last posted. She is living with her mother for now. My son and I have peace, and I am hoping that will continue. I feel stronger now, knowing that their behavior was wrong, and I did the right thing. Thanks for checking in on me. Well, and this is all the update we have. I am so sorry that OP has so many idiotic family members, and that things had to turn out this way, but OP has to think about what's best for her and her son. I hope things get better from now on. And thank God that her ex-sister-in-law opened her eyes, and finally separated from OP's narcissist brother. Good luck to her. And what about you guys? Did you like this update? Do you have any other advice to give OP? If so, don't forget to leave your comments down below. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.